Well, the U.S. Vice President maintaining optimism on the stability of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza, although cautioning some uncertainty does remain. J.D. Vance making those remarks following a meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Mr. Netanyahu, meanwhile, praising cooperation with the U.S., saying a strong Israel can serve America's interests.
I never said it was easy, but what I am is optimistic that the ceasefire is going to hold and that we can actually build a better future in the entire Middle East. But that requires some work. So it's not about monitoring in the sense of, you monitor a toddler. It's about monitoring in the sense that there's a lot of work, a lot of good people who are doing that work, and it's important for the principals and the administration to keep on ensuring that our people are doing what we need them to do.
A strong Israel serves America's interests in stabilizing this very unstable region. And you can't stabilize it without a strong Israel. So we make the decisions for the security of Israel, but we make common decisions for the region, which I think can serve us both.
Mr. Vance's three-day visit to Israel is part of a diplomatic blitz in support of the U.S. brokered plan to end the war in Gaza and rebuild the enclave, although he has warned of a, quote, tough task ahead in disarming Hamas. Blake Sifton is covering this story for CNA. He's joining us live now from Tel Aviv. Blake, ideas for, quote, the day after are being discussed during that meeting as well. What more do we know about those?
Good evening. In those remarks to reporters, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that he and Vance and others are discussing the issue of the day after in terms of the governance of Gaza, the civil administration of Gaza, as well as who will maintain security in Gaza. While he said that Israel would continue to maintain a role in maintaining security in Gaza, he provided very few specifics about this day after plan that he and the United States have been discussing. But in talking at this stage about the day after, they are showing quite a bit of confidence that the ceasefire itself, as we know it, will continue to last because, of course, there have been serious challenges to the ceasefire as recently as Sunday, where there was a deadly outbreak of violence with 2 Israeli soldiers killed, 3 injured, as well as 44 Palestinians killed in response. But he, as well as Vice President Vance, have expressed a great deal of confidence that the ceasefire will continue. J.D. Vance yesterday announced the opening of a ceasefire monitoring and implementation center, a mechanism for the ceasefire that will be staffed by 200 U.S. military members as well as representatives of other foreign militaries. They will engage with the Israelis as well as with other stakeholders like the UN to ensure that the ceasefire continues. J.D. Vance went as far as well as to say that he thinks that this, not only the ceasefire, but the wider peace plan in Gaza, that it could provide an unlocking of the Abraham Accords and an expansion of the Abraham Accords with Israel perhaps normalizing ties with other countries in the Middle East following the success of this agreement. And when it comes to a key issue towards the day after, which is this international stabilization force that's meant to enter Gaza and assist with demilitarization and whose progress the full withdrawal from Gaza of the Israeli military is tied to, yesterday he addressed that, saying that countries have expressed interest in joining, but no U.S. forces would be on the ground.
Well, as you mentioned, ceasefire being violated from both sides, both Hamas and Israel. How then is the first phase of the agreement being assessed, or how is it progressing?
Well, it certainly had its bumps in the road at this stage, although it is holding for the most part. The two key issues, though, that have not been fully realized and that need to be realized, of course, are the return of all the bodies of Israeli hostages from Gaza, as well as the full flow of aid into Gaza. On the bodies, we've seen some progress in recent days. Yesterday, Hamas released 2 more bodies of Israeli hostages. That means that 15 of the 28 have now been returned, so more than half, although 13 remain in Gaza. Hamas, of course, have said that they are doing everything they can to retrieve the bodies, but it will take time and special and heavy equipment to retrieve those bodies. Yesterday, Vice President Vance addressed this issue. He acknowledged that retrieving the bodies is difficult. He said it was not going to happen overnight, that they are buried under rubble, and in some cases, no one knows where they are. But he did express confidence that all bodies would be returned. Now, on the issue of aid into Gaza, according to the deal, some 600 trucks of aid is meant to enter Gaza every day. day. We understand over the last few days, it's only been 200 to 300 trucks, so well below that amount. And the UN has said that a massive influx of aid needs to enter Gaza.
Many thanks, Blake Sifton, covering those developments live from Tel Aviv for CNA.